Hello everybody and welcome back to another Wednesday of tutorials from your programming network. Today we're going to start a new series and we're going to start looking at Microsoft Access 2013. I'm going to start off from the basics and we're going to go all the way through. I'm going to show you how to use VBA in Access as well, in queries and forms. So to start off with, we'll go through tables, then we'll go into queries, then we'll go into forms, and then I'll start showing you how to use VBA in Access. So we've got a lot ahead of us. So let's get started straight away. So first of all, I'm just going to show you how you set up your first Access database. And very simple, just open up your Microsoft Access and then you get a list of different templates you can use, and the templates are all pretty good. There's a lot of them, so if you want to search for any type of different templates and not having to bother creating your own, then you can, which is a great feature in 2013. Thousands of them online. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this blank desktop database here, and this is going to create a completely new empty database for me. Now, slightly different to kind of Excel and Word in that it will ask you to save your database up front. This is because once you've created your database, then kind of anyone can connect to it straight away, or any of your external programs can connect to it straight away. So if you've watched my VBA tutorials for Excel, you can, as soon as you create this database, Excel can start attacking it with kind of active data objects and SQL. So let's choose where we're going to save it. So let's click on our folder, and I want to save it in my documents and then Access 2013, and then I'm going to save it in my examples folder, and my examples folder is going to have a different folder in it for each tutorial. And if you want to download this, then there'll be a link in the description below to my website, and on the website there'll be a big a download button for you to download all these examples. So I'm going to save this down as my database, press OK, and then it's going to save a .accdb file and create, and then this is going to give us our first database, and it comes as default with a table already set up in it. I'm just going to close that and not save it because I just want a blank, and this is your first kind of page that you come onto. You've got your home page, which at the moment is all grayed out because I've closed that down and we haven't got anything to actually work with. We've got a create tab up here, an external data tab, and a database tools. These ones we'll come on to later. For now, we're going to be looking at the create tab, and specifically I'm going to look at creating a data table. So you can just click on this table one, and it will put a table in here. I prefer to use if you go into create and then the table design. It just gives you a bit more control of your table. So here we have a list of field names that we can put into our table. So let's say we want to put in three different fields. So we want to put in a user ID, and we want that to be a number, and then we want a user name, and we want that to be some text. I just want it to be short text, and then let's just have a user city, and we'll have that as short text as well. I'll come on to these data types in one of the tutorials coming up soon. And so this is just our fields. So if you think of it as kind of an Excel spreadsheet, then it would be, these are our columns. So now let's close this, save our table. So just right click on your table up here, and press save. And it's because it's the first time I'm saving it, it's going to prompt for a name. So I'm going to just call it my first table. Press OK. It's going to say that no primary keys defined. I'll come on to primary keys in a minute. So it's asking if I want to create a primary key. I'm going to say no. And then I'm going to close down the design view for the table. So now we've got our table here. If I right click on it, I can either open it or I can go into design view. So design view is what I was just in. So if you want to go on that and then add more fields in, then you can. But I don't want to do that now. I want to go just open it, and then this is my normal view here. And you've got your fields along the top. Try not to call them columns because they're called fields. And then you've got your rows, or what they should actually be called is records, down the side. Now you notice that you can't actually select any further down. That's because you just add in one record at a time. If you've got two people in the table, it's not going to kind of overwrite if you both add in the same way as it would if you're using, say, a shared workbook in Excel. If you both add in a record, it's going to add both of those records in no particular order. So let's say I want to add myself in, so my user ID is going to be a number, so 1001, and then username, Matt Sands, and then city is Chesterfield at the moment, and then we've got one record, and then now it's got a new star row down here where I can add in another record. So let's just make someone up. So let's put them as 1002, and then let's call them Bruce Smith, and they can be in London 1003. You can just keep adding records in. And Miley Brown, and they can be in New York. And so you just store data like this. So at the moment, if you haven't used Microsoft Access before, this might not seem overly useful compared to a Excel spreadsheet. But when we come on to doing queries and forms and our VBA, and linking all our different tables together, it's going to become really apparent why Access is really good. Now what you just got to remember is you don't need to save this as you go along. Every time you click out of a record and go into different records, it's going to update that record and it's going to be saved. So when we close this down, it'll ask if I want to save changes to the layout of the table. Now this isn't what I've changed in the records, this is the kind of size of the columns at the top. So I'm going to press yes because I want to save the size of the columns. But if I go in and don't change any size of the columns, it's not going to prompt me to save it because it doesn't need to. So let's say Miley gets married to Bruce, then you change her name to Smith, and then close down our table. It's not going to prompt us to save, but when we go back in, you notice that it is actually saved. And that is the basics of setting up your first database. In the next tutorial, I'll go into using a few different data types. So thanks for listening. If you want to catch the tutorials released every Wednesday, then please subscribe. And if you've got any questions, pop onto our forum in the description below, and we'll answer your questions normally within a few hours. So thanks for listening, and I hope to catch you in the next tutorial.